for by the New World Order.
Oh, you didn't know?
You ready? Let's go!
Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Feed me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Big Daddy Cool Vinny Apicella, and we are back with another episode of the Sportswire, bringing you another attack on your audiological senses. On this week's show today, first of all, is the very last day of June in 2015. It is June 30th, and that's right. We are the absolute best in podcasting. And I want to first of all apologize that if you hear some sounds during the podcast, it's because my computer is hooked to Skype, and anytime somebody decides to message me, a little pop up or a little bloop, it sounds like bubbles or something, pops up and you start to hear it. So anyways, we'll let you know, first of all, our sponsors here. Jerry Wilson from It's So Real Productions, and that website is facebook.com/jerry.wilson.180410. He is helping to sponsor us, as well as Wayne Jones Management Company. The website for that is www.blemg.com. So, if y'all know, I do broadcast from New Britain, Connecticut, and it's been a great run. We've been actually doing live shows, or should I say live to tape shows. We've been doing new episodes since the first week in May. So now it marks 2 months that we've been doing Sports Wires here on Fat Cat Radio. Let me point out also, visit our website, www.swe-ct.com. www.myfatcatradio.com. You can find us all on Facebook, facebook.com/SportswireCT, facebook.com/FatCatRadioEnterprise. Then you can also find my personal fan page, facebook.com/BDC Vinny Apicella, and then follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Foursquare, SoundCloud. I think there's a couple others out there. Trying to remember. I can't remember them all, but you could definitely look up SWE Connecticut, as well as YouTube and Google Plus, our Sportswire SWE. We are all over. Also on Skype, add us, Sportswire SWE. This way, while we're recording, even if we're not live, you could always send questions to me, Sportswire SWE on Skype. Okay, and that way, if you choose to want to come on the show, we can work on getting a Skype interview together. Okay, so right now we've got a lot. I shouldn't say we got a lot to talk about. Today's going to be one of those episodes where we talk about whatever comes to mind. It's what I like to call a potpourri episode. We've been talking nonstop about a lot of stuff. First of all, today's Tuesday. I did not record an episode on Monday as I normally would have, simply because I wanted to give Saturday's episode a little bit more time to gain some popularity, and it did. It got 41 plays in 3 days. And keep listening to it. Saturday's episode from the 27th. It was a great episode. Not only did I have my son on, he talked about his singing and dancing and his aspirations for that, but I also had a good friend of mine on talking about his struggles with drug addiction. And for those of you who are first-time listeners to the Sports Wire, I want to make it perfectly clear, do not let the name fool you. Yes, the name is called Sports Wire. I have had that name from 1990 2007 when myself, Vinny Gagliardi, and Brett Garrett all decided to start the VVB Sportswire on Citizens Television, which is ZTV, in New Haven, Hamden, and West Haven, Connecticut. It was a public access TV show. From there, we went on from 1997 through 2004. It went through a couple different incarnations, from the VVB Sportswire to Tri-City Sportswire to just Sportswire. And we've had that name. 2004, the public access show ended, basically. It did. It ended. Schedules got started to conflict, and there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened that we just couldn't do it, so we had to end it. When we ended it, it was the longest-running, weekly, hour-long sports genre public access show in the country, and it was great. But now, and then we tried the internet video, the YouTube, or Twitch, I should say, last year, or should I say 2 years ago, 2013. We tried it, didn't really work, didn't get the following, didn't pick it up really that we wanted because we weren't established and we couldn't get the advertising down. It was tough. We've gone through a lot, and now thank you to Fat Cat Radio and Big Lou, rest in peace, the late great Big Lou, God rest your soul. We are here on Fat Cat Radio, and now we're starting to gain some momentum. I want to thank you. Over 1,000 listens now in 2 months has been fantastic. A lot of the older stuff. Besides right now as it stands, the most popular Sportswire podcast I had was from the beginning of them on the very first day of this month, June 1st, 2015. That was the live show with Big Lou. It was the very first time he was ever on YouTube because we simulcast that day, and it was great. It was a great time, and that's the biggest, most popular, most listened to Sportswire we've had. Other than that, it was the interview I did with the coach George DeMeo from KC101 or ESPN Radio 1300, whatever you want to look at it, from the YouTube era of the Sportswire. And that interview, you can watch the video of it at YouTube, but you can also listen to it on demand at our page, Spreaker.com/show/sports-wire. You can also find us on YouTube, follow us, and download us, and that's been helping a lot. This way, the brand new episode, every time it gets uploaded, goes directly to your phone, iPad, iPhone, iPod, however you listen to your podcasts. If you download it, follow it on YouTube, subscribe to it, it comes right to your phone or your listening instrument. So I want to thank all of the fans out there, and we're going to keep going. We're going to keep getting a lot better. It's been a hell of a ride this month. Big Lou passing away literally less than a week after the podcast that we did together. That was really difficult for me. I can only imagine for his family. And I don't only know him a short time, but he quickly became a best friend of mine. Throughout the 2 months, the 2 months that we've been doing this, we've been playing a lot of music. Twism White Piece. I'm not going to be playing him today, but I want to thank him as well. He's been doing great music and congratulate him. Starting tomorrow, I believe, he starts with Red Bull Records, and he's being picked up by them, which is great, not only for him but also for us with Fat Cat Radio. I've been playing Dean Wild. I've been playing J-Deuce. Been playing a couple of different bands, Second Skin, Dixie Still, Curtis Pacheco, and I just recently started playing Jenna Marotta and Alexa Wilkinson, and then Katie Perkins, fantastic. She's right from Connecticut, Katie Perkins. And so we've been playing some good music. We've been talking to some pretty good guests. I had Mark Welch on, the head coach of the Connecticut Panthers on. I had him on a couple weeks ago. I had, obviously, my friend Brian on. We talked to Brody Ray Runge on our live show on the 1st. And, so we've been making an impact. And I want to continue to make an impact with listeners, because that's what the Sportswire is here for, to make an impact, to I don't like to say cause controversy, but to cause controversy, because controversy creates conversation. I've said that from the beginning. Eric Bischoff, who, in my opinion, is, besides Vince McMahon and Paul Heyman, the absolute smartest man in the professional wrestling industry. Okay, he's a genius. He coined the phrase "controversy creates cash." He wrote a book on it. I recommend you go out and read it, and it's awesome. But I took my saying "controversy creates conversation" from that, because even though I am looking for cash, especially sponsors for the Sportswire, looking for sponsors for the Sportswire and for Fat Cat Radio, but I'm also looking for I'm looking for people to start talking. When I see that I post on Facebook about the show, and I see people saying this show is awesome or I love it, that's just absolutely great. It really is, because we're gonna be the best that we can be. We're gonna be the absolute best for you, for the listeners, for the fans. And right now, I want to talk about. I want to let you know. When I post this, it'll still be on. But from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. today, Twism White Piece is doing a webisode, on YouTube. I will share the link right now, and actually share it to. I guess every Tuesday he does it live on YouTube. So I'm going to share it with all of my pages and let you all listen to it or go over and watch it now or whenever, because you can always listen to the Sportswire anytime you want. But I am, I'm happy to be here. I think we've got a good thing going. Over the past few months, ever since I started with the podcast, I've been listening to a lot more podcasts, and I've been listening to Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast. Actually, both of them. His normal podcast, which is his, his regular show, and then his Unleashed version, which is a little bit more uncensored, if you will. But Steve Austin has been fantastic. He's been a great inspiration. But you know what? Jim Ross as well. Actually, the Ross Report was, in my opinion, was the first podcast, because Jim Ross used to do a lot with hotlines and he used to do blogs and stuff. So the Ross Report was, in my opinion, one of the very first podcasts without being a podcast. And I've been listening to Steve Austin, and when he does his WWE Network specials, he did 3 of them so far, and he'll be doing a few more. So I just want to let everybody know that I've been listening to him. One of my all-time favorite podcasters out there is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho, in my opinion, like I said, is one of the best podcasters out there, because he's got the gift of gab. He knows how to talk. He was great on the mic in wrestling. And you know what I really like about him is he doesn't just stay with wrestlers. And I'm not saying that all the other wrestling podcasts out there are all wrestlers, but he is a multi-genre type of person. I mean, for somebody when Stacy Keibler did Dancing with the Stars, you could understand that, because she used to be a cheerleader, she used to be a Nitro girl. She has dancing in her background, and I think she either won or she came in second place that season. I can't remember, but that was not a surprise for her to be there. But Chris Jericho, who arguably is one of the greatest wrestlers in history, the very first undisputed world heavyweight champion of all time, beating Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock in one night at Armageddon in 2002 or 2001. That was funny. That was, and he lived with that for a long time. But being the front man of Fozzy. And I remember when they did that whole thing where, his stage name for Fozzy was Mongoose McQueen, and Chris Jericho and Mongoose McQueen, were claiming to be 2 different people, but yet they can never be seen together. It was one of those things where, the old cartoons where somebody is someone else, like Hulk Hogan did with Mr. America. It was like you knew that it was him, but you can never see them together at the same time. Almost like Andy Kaufman and Tony Clifton. Of course, Tony Clifton did live on past Andy Kaufman because I think somebody else took over the character. But you know what I mean? That was funny. That was entertaining. And what I really like about him is he cares about the fans. He's not doing it, whether or not he's doing it for the money, I don't know. But he's doing it for the fans. And, the past 2 times, every time he comes back to the WWE now, it's for the fans. It's not for a Raw or a SmackDown or a pay-per-view. He doesn't appear on TV. He strictly goes to the live events. Now, he will be on TV on the WWE Network this coming Saturday as from the 4th of July. I think it's like something ridiculous, like 9:30 or 8:30 in the morning here, live from Tokyo. He's going to be fighting in that show from the Tokyo Dome, which Brock Lesnar is facing Finn Balor or somebody. He's fighting, so Jericho is working with somebody else, and but I mean, it's a great time, and I feel really bad for Finn Balor having to work with Brock Lesnar at this time, but that's just how it is. So Jericho is for the fans, and he's entertaining as all hell. And I've listened to Roddy Piper, who does Piper's Pit podcast. That's another one that transcended podcastdom because of his wrestling segments and his interview segments on wrestling. It's Piper's Pit. I listen to that. He's great. Woo Nation with Ric Flair, the Human Podcast Machine with Taz. Fantastic. All of them. All of the podcasts are awesome. I recommend you download them. After you download Sportswire and listen to us, you go back and you listen to all of them because they're great. I tried to listen to Shaq's Big Show or the Big Show with Shaq or the Big Podcast with Shaq, whatever it's called. It's okay. It's okay. It's not my cup of tea. He's entertaining, but I don't know. But anyway, so I want to go to a song. All right, this is going to be one of the newer artists that we're playing now. Jenna Marotta. Here's Never Forget, right here on the Sportswire.
Can't fight without you, baby. Go slow, you move too quickly. Wasn't ready to fly on my own. You grew to love me, baby. Our love was not forsaken. We took a vow all the time. I'll find you in heaven, and when I get there, we'll get together. I'll be safe in your arms. Keep telling myself, never forget. must be a dream. I will find you in heaven, and when I get there, get together, and I'll be safe in your arms. Keep telling myself, never forget, never forget, never forget.
All right, and that was Jenna Marotta, or Marotta. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Jenna Marotta right here on the Sportswire with Never Forget. Like I said, we've been playing a lot of good music. See, my favorite types of music are, I like a lot. As a former DJ, I worked for Rent a DJ for quite a few years, and I amassed this phenomenal collection of music over the years, and it's great. I've got a couple of weddings that I'm going to be DJing in the near future, and I just do it kind of on the side for friends. I don't publicize it too much because, well, I don't work for anybody, and I, if anybody, I'm loyal to Rent a DJ, and so I don't want to promote myself as a DJ and take business from them. But I do happen to enjoy music, and country music is one of my favorite types of genres. As I've been getting older, yes, I'm 33, so I mean that's not that old, but as I've been maturing, my musical taste's been maturing as well. No longer do I really, every so often I'll get the opportunity or the craving to listen to something like Limp Bizkit or Kid Rock, which are two of my favorite all-time artists or bands. But, gone are the days where I'll listen to like Snoop Dogg or Dr. Dre or all of that. But I've grown past it. Like, every so often I'll get a craving to listen to it, and I have some old stuff of theirs from the 90s. But, more and more I've been listening to a lot of adult contemporary. But I do like listening to the metal, Metallica, Megadeth, Rob Zombie, definitely some fun types of music. Ozzy Osbourne is great, which is amazing because the only time you can actually understand him is when he's singing. When he's talking, you can't understand a damn thing he's saying. It's probably from all of the drug use that he had in the past, or the acid trips, or whatever. But I do happen to enjoy his music. I was listening to Never Gonna Stop off of, I think it was like the most recent album that came out, which was still a few years ago. And I think it was, great album, great music. Rob Zombie I saw in concert at Ozfest 99. It was great, which obviously Ozfest for Ozzy Osbourne, and Black Sabbath played that year. As the the headliners, but Rob Zombie was the second headliner, and I saw Slayer, I saw let's see who else was there. I'm drawing a blank. Godsmack was there, Slayer was there. So there were a lot of bands there. I can't remember them all off the top of my head, but it's just one of those things where music has really done a lot. In my life, and a lot of people do use music as an escape, whether you're an artist or you're or just someone that likes to listen to music. Music resonates, and you choose songs that you like based on what is going on in your life at the time. And I'll be honest, back around 2008, 2009, I was going through a lot in my life. And, without going too personal at this time on it, I'm an open book. You want to know what's happened in my life and whatever, feel free to talk, and I'll talk about it at some point. But I had a lot going on in my life at that time. And you know what? I had people that I had grudges against, and I know that you're not supposed to hold grudges, you're supposed to forgive and all that. But it's hard when you're actually in the middle of when you're in the middle of a lot of stuff that you've been going through and you've been facing on a daily basis. It's like you find that you hold grudges to protect yourself. And, because if you listen to people, saying things about you, and sometimes you'll start to believe it, whether or not it's true. And, so people have always told me that I'm a fighter, that I'm strong. But you know what? There was a time where I was spiraling out of control. And while I never, and I said on my last show, while I never, ever tried drugs or alcohol for a device or for a vice, but it's still like I'm spiraling out of control because I was, making bad decisions, and I was trying to, just stay sane and trying to do stuff that I shouldn't have done and all that kind of stuff. But, lo and behold, like I said, I was going through a lot, and I was holding grudges on people that I should never held grudges on, after a long time and patience and therapy and, just talking about it, I realized that there's no better way to do things than to forgive people. But at the time, I didn't know that. So one of the biggest songs in my life that influenced me, at the time, Randy Orton was using the theme song called Take What's Mine. And it was by Mercy Drive. And although it gets a lot of slack, a lot of people didn't like it because it's like, that was a main point of the song was nothing you can say is going to change what you've done to me, so a lot of people joke about it. But you know what? If you actually, get the Reckless Intent CD and you listen to it, the lyrics, it really resonated with me. The people that I was holding grudges against, was like, whatever you've done with me, nothing you can say is going to change what you've done to me. And I'm going to take what's mine, and it was, great. And then when I became a Christian and when I was baptized on October 30th of 2011, again, I thought about it. That Satan did a lot of stuff, and I was holding grudges against Satan, and whatever he's done to me, he can't change it, but I'm going to take what's mine, which is my freedom from, from sin, whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is this. Everybody has a past. Everybody has stuff that they've done that affects their life. And, you could resonate with music. And a lot of music is made, a lot of good music, let me put it that way. A lot of good music, whether it's country, whether it's rock, whether it's hip-hop or R&B. A lot of music is made because the songwriter had experience with it, a song, I know a friend of mine, somebody who had been a close friend to me and, no longer is, but, we still contact each other. She said that the song by Tim McGraw, Drugs Are Jesus, helped change her life and get her out of the funk that she was in. While she's not a Christian, but it's still, it's still that kind of mentality of, helping to save your life. So it's like music has that motivation on it, which is why it's awesome that I'm able to be on internet radio and play these great songs for these indie local talents that otherwise wouldn't get the airplay. And while, I may play one song here and there, I'm not an hour and a half block of music, it's still good to be able to play and listen to these songs. I'll play just about anything, as long as it's clean. If it's got swears in it, I won't play it because I just don't agree with, not that I don't agree with it, but I don't want to put myself in the pigeonhole of explicit lyrics. I don't want to do that. I know a lot of people do, especially with the internet radio, but I'm not going to do that. So I think it's a fantastic outlet to, another song that was awesome. Mickey James, who's obviously one of the better former WWE divas, has gone back to TNA a little while. She put out a couple of country albums. Her first album, there was a song on there that was called Strangers and Angels, and it was actually recently covered not too long ago by another artist, and it was released for airplay. But that song, if you listen to it, it's great because it talks about how You know, what if strangers are put into your life at any specific time, but it's actually an angel from God to save you from something? You know, and in the talk, it's like, and in the song, it's like, there's a person, she's in back of a person at the checkout line at the supermarket, and they're taking a long time, whether it's counting out change or whatever. It's taking a long time, and she's in a rush, and, you know, she's like, what about, what if that stranger is actually an angel? What if there's if you're not held back for those extra 5 minutes, you're at a certain intersection at a certain time and you end up getting sideswiped and killed or whatever the case is. So it's like, then you stop and think, well, what is 5 minutes? And it could be a life. It's great. So I want to just say I'm happy to be here playing music for you that has meaning. I won't necessarily play copyrighted material because I do eventually want to get paid for this stuff, and I don't have a copyright playing, license. But, I think it's great to be able to play this kind of music. And I'm going to go to another great artist, Connecticut artist, Katie Perkins. I've been playing her music. She does a lot of stuff around Connecticut, and, she's got a beautiful voice. Here's Katie Perkins. Here's To Love Me, another song off her first. She sent me 4 songs, 2 off her first album, 2 off her second. I don't know which are which. I'll have to actually. I could check in the email right now. Let's see. From the first album, We Can Make It, and Time Rolls On. Last week we played We Can Make It. That was from her first album. This song is from her second album, and this is called To Love Me. Here's Katie Perkins right here on the Sportswire.
Things that I really didn't mean, so here's the truth.
right, y'all. That was Katie Perkins with "To Love Me" right here on the Sportswire. That was off her second album. I think it's absolutely great to be able to play his music, as I said. So that was Katie Perkins from called "To Love Me," so a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but every so often I'll do these shows where it's just kind of potpourri. I call it potpourri because because it's just it's just anything, it's a show, like Seinfeld was a show about nothing. Well, this is what it is. It's a show about anything and everything. It's not just sports, Bubba Watson won the Bubba Watson won the Travelers Championship in Connecticut, in Cromwell, the TPC River Highlands this past Sunday. So that covers the sports for this week, I guess. The Yankees, I believe, are like a game out of first place or whatever the case may be. It's not even the All-Star break yet, so baseball isn't really heating up yet. With the exception of the idiot that caught A-Rod's ball that, refuses to give it back to the Yankees or give it to A-Rod, but he is taking on a radio show tour or whatever, just, because he's getting his 15 minutes of fame. I can guarantee you in about a month he'll sell it to the Yankees or sell it to the Hall of Fame or sell it to A-Rod himself or whatever, and he's being an idiot, quite honestly. He's being a moron. Anybody who has that kind of, that catches that kind of ball automatically should give it back to the player or give it to the Hall of Fame or whatever because, that's how it is. You shouldn't be able to make money off of it. If the team wants to pay you, if the player wants to pay you, fine. It's compensation. But, to go on, radio tours or TV tours just because you caught a ball at a baseball game does not make you a celebrity. It's I see it as in poor taste, but that's just me. Anyways, I think it's I don't know. I mean, I've caught foul balls I've gotten foul balls at Ravens game, New England Ravens game. Now they're AA. All right, they were AA. Now they're the New Hampshire Fisher Cats. But I will say this that I will say this. If you really want to, if you really want to be that kind of person to make some money, go to the AA games, go to the AAA games, because these are the guys that are, going to make it. If I was able to catch a Todd Helton home run from back when he was in New Haven in the early 90s or the mid 90s, and then what he became with the Colorado Rockies and retiring either last year or the year before, that's where the money's at. Todd Helton became a hell of a player, and, to catch a AA baseball home run from him, you cherish that. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not advocating anything like that. Anyways, so on Facebook, okay, there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of drama on Facebook, which is why I don't like to, utilize it a lot other than, social media marketing or there's some other uses for it. As a matter of fact, I reconnected with the girl who just recently became my girlfriend through a friend on Facebook. We had known each other beforehand, and, it's like when I was looking through my friends list, if that's what you want to call it, on Facebook, I'm like, I wonder if she still knows her. And that's how we met, or how we reconnected. Not met, I should say. We reconnected. We had known each other 8 years ago, and we reconnected, and everything has been absolutely fantastic. And I'm not the kind of person where I'm going to share. I'm not going to kiss and tell. I'm not going to share details of our relationship on the podcast. But social media is a good thing. I recently, not too long ago, as a matter of fact, it was just about a month ago, I had somebody confront me. Now, here's where I will, utilize this show for certain things, okay? I had someone confront me. And what do I mean by confront? I mean that somebody actually came to my job and somebody actually came to my job, and it's somebody who I considered a friend, and they ended up confronting me about my possible, at the time, the relationship I was building. And I didn't really appreciate that because I don't appreciate, number one, I don't appreciate people coming to my job because, quite honestly, I don't like to have, I just don't like people who think that they're better than me or better than everybody else. I will say that I will say that some people are easier to talk to. Some people are some people just, they think their poop don't stink, if you will. And, this person called me out and wanted to confront me about it because I wasn't doing things the way he thought was right. And, I don't appreciate that. And he actually gave me an ultimatum. And this is actually why I had kind of Big Lou and I had talked about, a lot of the stuff on my show, on that show. Being a baptized Christian, the certain denomination of churches, and I'm not going to single out any churches. If you know me, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know me, I'm not going to single them out. But I just I don't appreciate people giving me ultimatums about things that are beyond their control. Quite honestly, I don't like being controlled. I don't like people controlling my life, and I just feel that when it comes to personal relationships and stuff, you have to have a modicum of selfishness because you need to be attracted and you need to, understand that you have to be attracted to your girlfriend, especially if you're going to go to marriage at some point. You can't just, be in a relationship because of you go to the same church or you go to the same this or you go to the same that. You need to have a lot of interests in common. And while I'll never badmouth anything about Christianity or I'll never badmouth anything about certain churches, what I don't like, I'll tell you how things are real, okay? I'll tell you how it is because I've been there and I've done that and I've lived it, okay? I don't appreciate when people say you can or cannot date certain people or you can or cannot do things. Now, do I believe in God? Absolutely. Do I believe that Jesus died for my sins? Absolutely. However, at the same time, I do believe in evolution, and we as humans, we need to adapt. And what do I mean by adapt? Well, Triple H put it bluntly when last year during the whole evolution versus Shield angle, you either adapt or you perish, and that's what it is. Okay, animals adapt when their living situation changes. Look at fish. When they found out, or when. When fish started living in the water, nonstop, their bodies adapted, and they came with gills in order to live underwater and breathe underwater. Well, it's the same thing with humans. We need to adapt with the times, and we need to evolve as humans, and that's what it's all about. I had wrestled a long time with the whole issue of, same-sex marriages, same-sex relationships, transgenderism, all that, because, on one hand, you have the Bible and you have what God says are sins and you have that, God created us perfectly and this and that and the other thing. But at the other time, from the scientific brain, people are genetically predisposed to who they're attracted to. regardless of what sex it is. Now, obviously, it's your choice whether or not you want to be happy or not. But in my opinion, the way I had to look at it was this. Okay, I work third shift at a hotel. While this is not paying, I work third shift at a hotel, and quite honestly, on Saturday mornings, if I have to work the night before and that Sunday night, well, I'm not going to church service that Sunday morning because I have to sleep. And it got to the point where at first, when I started, I wasn't working the weekends, but then I started being nice and said, okay, I could work certain weekends here and there, whatever. Now, then it became every other weekend and, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, I always felt guilty because, or I always pushed myself, at least during the winter to, go to church, come home and sleep the afternoon. But when it starts to get a lot more humid out, that just ain't going to happen. I'm telling you from God honest truth, I can't sleep when it's humid, and that's just not going to happen. So I was feeling guilty about not, going to church. And then I'm like, you know what? Well, there's a difference between self-sacrifice and stupidity. If I don't sleep, I can't function, and it's bad for your health. That's stupidity. Well, a lot of people view going against your natural tendencies to be stupid, and I'm one of them. If something feels natural to you, chances are it's right. And that's all there is to it, regardless of what other people may say. But, that's just it. Excuse me. You know what? Before I get to any more, I'm going to continue with this subject after the song. The next song, it's I guess it works. It's called Hard Time. It's by my buddy J-Deuce, with a couple other people. But here it is. J-Deuce, Hard Time, right here on the Sportswire.
This is Hard Times. Yo, I was raised in an environment filled with situations that I meet fairy tales that exist in these hood like ghetto streets. It was tough for my mom to meet the needs of the household, to be able to have a table with me, to feed a mouthful. Bad social weather didn't allow my parents to stay together. When it rained and poured, it meant that I knew we're going through the same endeavor and can relate with what we're facing. Welfare and unemployment lines filled with familiar faces. Always hard to find a reason to smile. So you wanna get into my shoes and try to walk a mile? I don't know about that shit. It was tough for me to walk when I was continually growing out of my shoes. As far as new styles and trends, couldn't really spot them. As far as the ones who did, they were quick to get stolen. Wish I had a dime for every time I met someone going through the same grind. A clock made out of sweat can't compare to this hard time.
Need money to feed my kids.
This is hard time.
Asking God why I have to live. Late on rent again. Can't afford to keep with trends. Minimum wage, I need more hours. Cold water while I'm taking the shower. Wanna lean on friends. I'm down and out again. This is
You went from having
hard
good times to no time, a busy life to no life, a free life, a stress life, a hard time, a hard life. You try to make the best of your circumstances and everything that turns into it, but once you pay your bills, another one resurfaces. Some people that's already in debt think they got nothing to lose, but that's easy to act when the credit card is pre-approved. That's why you gotta be disciplined and be the bigger man, because you buy one thing and the government got you in the palm of their hand. And that's the problem where you make your biggest mistake. You buy the newest Escalade and have no food in your plate. When Obama became president, people thought that things was gonna change, but these can't change unless some of us take the blame. Two major debates is Medicaid and economy. A debate for the past 30 years because the world is a monopoly. The good die young and the better die quicker. The poor stay broke and the richer get richer. Hard times.
feed my kids.
This is hard time.
Asking God why I have to live. Late on rent again. Can't afford to keep with trends.
This is hard
Minimum
times.
wage, I need more hours.
This is hard
Cold
times.
water while I'm taking the shower. Wanna lean on friends.
This is hard
I'm
times.
down and out again.
This is hard times.
Money to feed my kids.
This is hard times.
Asking God why I have
right, and that was J-Deuce here on the Sportswire with A Hard Time. And that, and that's actually a good song for what I was talking about, because it is a lot of times when you become a Christian and you go through the Bible studies and everything, it is a hard time that you have to choose. You have to choose things, or choose to live your life differently, basically. And depending on the church you become a part of, or the group of people that you're with, a lot of those changes could be very difficult. And some of them, in my opinion, aren't even places to have to change. And that's kind of like why there was a rift. And it's not like I left my church specifically to be, or left my old church specifically to be with my girlfriend. No, it was a bunch of things, and I don't particularly appreciate I can't go up to, which is why if you're following, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook, I do support, same-sex marriages. I do support, transgenderism, and it's taken me a lot to get to that point. But it's like, and I've talked to a lot of people, and, a lot of times you have to talk to people that are quote-unquote worldly in the world, because they give you better perspectives than always giving scriptures. And that's, and that's one of the biggest problems I have with the Christian religion, or it's one of those things where, it's always, looking to seek advice and to everything. But a lot of times it's good advice. I'm not saying it's bad advice, but a lot of people in any kind of religion, no matter what you look for, they refer back to scripture. And, if you could quote scripture, that's great. But if you can't put it to practicality and put it to practical uses, what's the use of, quoting the scripture? Because if you can't say, it means so-and-so, or this is how I interpret it, or whatever, if you can't be a friend and you can't talk about certain things from your own experiences, which is, I think, I honestly think Christianity is one of those things that is everybody should experience, but it's not necessarily for everybody, if you understand what I mean. Granted, in the Bible, Jesus tells his disciples to go make disciples of all nations, and, that's interpreted of making disciples of every single person in the world. Well, if you're living your life and Christians, and I'm not talking about this church that I went to. We were never one of those extremist groups that, are picketing abortion clinics or whatever the case may be. The fact is that our church, the church that I belonged to was actually really good, but a lot of their viewpoints were, askew, in my opinion. Or maybe my viewpoints are askew and just don't match up with theirs. But whatever the case may be, the fact is that I don't agree with going up to somebody who's happy in their life and saying, oh, well, you're living this way, so you're going to hell. Well, in my opinion, it's no. God, number one, God has the ultimate judgment. No human on earth can ever, ever, ever say that they can speak for God. And also, God is not locked in four walls of a church building. Any church in there, whether it's the Vatican or not. God is not locked in those four walls. However, there are a lot of people out there that feel, and this is one of the things that really pissed me off, was I made a comment to this person that met me at work, okay? And he said, because I made a comment to him that said, I know it's not wise in the eyes of the church about me dating this person because she's not part of the church. And he said, well, is it wise in... What do you mean? Do you mean it's not wise in the church's eyes or it's not wise in God's eyes? And I said, not wise in the church's eyes. I said, you cannot speak for God. Just like that. And it's like when people think that they're speaking for God, that's where the problem is. Okay? That's, and I've had, I've been a baptized Christian for 3.5 years now. Okay, October 11th. I'm not saying that I would never ever say that I'm not, living for Christ. Okay, I believe that Jesus died for my sins. Okay, and I believe that God has the ultimate judgment. But the fact of the matter remains that when you're a part of a church, okay, number one, in my opinion, and what I didn't like was having to second guess almost any decision that I've ever made, because you're supposed to get, many advisors create sure decisions, and you have to, or many advisors, cause victory, or whatever the proverb says. Yes, if I'm struggling with something, I'll get advice, but I don't need to get advice for every single decision that I make. Because a lot of it is based for the church and is not based on, a lot of people. And here's the thing: is that in Proverbs it says the heart above all is deceitful. But if the heart is deceitful, how is it that you can love? Because love is an emotion. And if you think with your emotions, it's not good. You have to think with your brain, obviously. But the thing about it is, how do you fall in love with somebody if you can't trust your heart? So I'm not saying that the Bible is wrong. I'm saying, the interpretation throughout the years, and it could have meant something completely different when the Proverbs were actually written back 3,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 years ago, because they were written back before Christ, because they were written by Solomon. And how, I understand that there are certain decisions that you shouldn't make based on emotions, like revenge, sit back, cool off, then, take, do what you have to do, and instead of taking revenge. But when it comes to love, okay, your heart has to be, and I'm not saying the red thing in your body that pumps the blood. I'm talking about your heart, your soul. The soul of you has to make the decision to love. The soul, you have to listen to your heart, because your heart is going to bond to whoever your soulmate is, regardless of whether they go to the same church, whether they're part of the same denomination, whether they're even a Christian or not. Okay, that's why there's so many interreligion or intergender or interracial. There's so much of that. When there's relationships. Me personally, I could never, and not that I'm racist, but I could never date a female who's African American, because I'm not attracted to them. Okay? I'm not attracted to them. But for anybody who is, that's where it lies. I know many people who are in miserable marriages because they did it not according to their heart. And, and that's one of the problems that I have with not supporting same-sex marriages. Matter of fact, same-sex couples, before the marriages, because obviously the marriages were passed, recently, but same-sex couples have a lower breakup rate than heterosexual couples, because they're living with their heart, and they're loving with their heart. And that's what it comes down to. Okay, we're gonna get into another song, because I'm talking a lot. We've already been on the air for an hour, or it's already recorded an hour, and I still got 2 more songs to play. So here's another song by Jansen. Here's awesome talent we've been playing lately, Jansen. Here's a new song from her that I just picked up now. A Country Girl Can Survive, right here on the Sportswire.
And so do I tell you boys, a country girl can survive. I'm a loaded gun when staggering tone about the love that's given me. Whiskey bottles lie, and so do I tell you, boys, a country girl can survive. What's wrong with living for the weekend? Every single working night, I'm gonna sleep when I'm dead. So I wanna start this party right. Whiskey bottles lie, and so do I tell you, boys. Whiskey bottles lie, and so do I tell you, boys. A country girl can survive. A country girl can survive. I got pockets in my faded blue jeans, and the world don't give a damn about me. Country girls can't survive.
All right, and that was AJ Jansen with "The Country Girl Can't Survive." That's probably got to be one of the better one of her better songs I've heard, in my opinion. But I you know, "A Country Girl Can't Survive." I love that. But so we were talking a lot about my experience with Christianity, and this is why I like the potpourri shows, because I can talk about just about anything I want. I am going to move on from that, though. WWE. And no, I'm not going to be talking about really WWE storylines. Quite honestly, I fell asleep during a Raw last night. But I will say this. I do like the Kevin Owens and John Cena feud. John Cena had an awesome match with Cesaro last night that was ended with Kevin Owens' interference and everything. But, I do want to say this. I do want to say something. WWE 2K15, they came out last year for, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, PS3, and recently for, computer. I do want to say that I did not like the game fully. I did like the the showcase, the showcases and everything. I did like that. Those were actually really cool, especially the One More Match and the Path of the Warrior, the Hall of Pain, and the other ones they had, the rivalry with CM Punk and John Cena and Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I thought that was absolutely fantastic, but they took out, as a matter of fact, WWE 2K15 is what I call WWE 2K14 Lite. They took out so many features. They had like 5 John Cenas. They had like 6 Triple H's. They had a ton of different Ultimate Warriors and Undertakers and stuff. And to me, it's like, why? It's like regardless of what they looked like at the actual event, it was them. It doesn't have to be completely, perfect when it comes to that. But, apparently, they also took out one thing I really couldn't stand they took out was the ability to put custom entry music for your custom wrestlers. And, for people that, like, with 2K14, I downloaded a crap load of wrestlers. And, I mean, downloaded maybe, from the original, my roster pretty much doubled with the amount of created wrestlers I either created or downloaded. And I was able to give them all their custom music because I had the songs loaded on 360. So it was one of those things where it was, 2K14 was awesome. 2K15 just lacked. It kind of it discouraged me from downloading created wrestlers because I had to use the generic music or whatever. So it really discouraged me from that. I hope they bring them back for 2016 for 2K16. Whatever, I will say they're touting that 2K16 is going to have the largest roster ever with 120 unique wrestler character impressions, as opposed to the 87 of 2015, and they said that's not including multiples of different characters. So 120 players, between legends, current players, current wrestlers, NXT divas, legends, Hall of Famers. So it remains to be seen how they're going, what they're going to base 2K16 around, who's going to be on the cover, because the cover should be out any time now. It is, only like 3 months away from October, or 4 months away. July, August, September, 4 months away from October when it's actually going to be released, and it will be released at the end of October. But it will be out for Xbox 360, PS3, Xbox One, and PS4, all the current generation and the new generation, or new generation and old generation, whatever you want to call it, which would be good because I don't have any plans of buying Xbox One anytime soon, just not in the budget. But I do play the game every so often, but I've been reverting more to 2K14 because of my expanded roster. But and there's also some glitches in 2K15 where it's like, you wrestle for the NXT Championship and it calls it the WCW Hardcore Championship. It's like, where the heck did that come from? It's like, the WCW Hardcore Championship, it's like, yeah, okay, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever at all. So, I've been, this has been a fantastic show, just about, anything. And we've been doing it for 70 minutes now. So I'm going to go to another song, and, this is where I know I'm starting to lose things to talk about. I still have one more song to play, and then we got the dumb law of the day. So we're going to go to Alexa Wilkinson, another new talent that I've been playing. Here's a song, Good Fight, right here on the Sportswire.
Shut up and listen to me. You never do a thing I don't find fault with, so just set me free. It's like I don't know you anymore, and there was something even worse I said. I can't remember half of it, I just wish that I was dead. Sure, I'll apologize, but now I'm getting wise to what's all going on inside. Sometimes the bad things and the sad things, they just come out all wrong. I blame you for all things, but it's all things, and there's nothing going on. Even the best souls, they got big holes, need a filling now and then. So if it's gotta be tonight, whoa, let's learn to have a good fight. Let's learn to have a good fight. I got a lot of time to sit around and think about you. The devil's creeping in to tell me you're sinning. You're probably asleep in your room. Now I'm out on the patio of your Sunset Village floor. I wanna knock, but pride's a bouncer and he's standing guard at your door. Trust me, I know I gotta take this slow. Find new ways to help me grow. Sometimes the bad things and the sad things, they just come out all wrong. I blame you for all things, but it's all things, and there's nothing going on. Even the best souls, they got big holes, ain't feeling now and then. So if it's gotta be tonight, whoa, let's learn to have a good
All right, and that was Alexa Wilkinson right here on the Sportswire. Definitely a great talent that I've been, playing, and all these, singers I've been playing on the Sportswire have been great talents because they're local, they're indie, they haven't sold out, but they're still trying to make money. So, I do want to get on to our very last segment of the day. That's the dumb law of the day. And we're going to go to the farthest state of the union right now, Alaska. So, here we go. Dumb laws in Alaska. And these are all compliments of dumblaws.com. I use them all the time. I think it's fun. Check them out. dumblaws.com. All right. So, dumb laws in Alaska. It is considered an offense to push a live moose out of a moving airplane. If you could get a moose out of into an airplane first, then that's that's effective. All right, moose may not be viewed from an airplane, which I don't understand that. If you're up in the air and you see a moose, you got to close your eyes. How is that illegal? All right, here's another one. While it is legal to shoot bears, waking a sleeping bear for the purpose of taking a photograph is prohibited. Anybody that wants to try to wake a sleeping bear is an idiot, in my opinion, anyways. So what do? You shoot it, and then you take a picture of it. I mean, wow, that's just nuts. But it's amazing because people would have had to do these to warrant the laws. All right. In Anchorage, Alaska, no one may tie their pet dog to the roof of a car. Okay? For all you would-be pranksters out there, it is illegal to string a wire across any road. Okay? Persons may not live in a trailer as it's being hauled across the city. That is just strange. And then, listen to this. Clouds beware. That's it. That's all it says. Clowns beware. Are clowns not liked in Alaska? How does the circus go to? All right. In Fairbanks, Alaska, it is considered an offense to feed alcoholic beverages to a moose. I don't think I'd want to see a drunk moose. In Haines, Alaska, a person may only carry a concealed slingshot if that person has received the appropriate license. Makes sense. I don't know why you would need a license for a slingshot, but it is against the law to attempt to break any law in Title IX of the Code, Public Peace, Morals, and Welfare. Okay, well, it's against the law to break the law. All right. Employers of bars may not let their bartenders serve while they are drunk themselves. That makes sense. In Juneau, Alaska, owners of flamingos may not let their pet into barbershops. Okay, why would you have a pet flamingo in the first place? Buildings that preserve scenic vistas are awarded bonus points by the government. I don't even know what that means. In Nome, Alaska, one may not roam the city with a bow and arrows. In Soldotna, Alaska, persons may not allow attractive nuisances to exist. What does attractive nuisances mean? Is that like... Oh, bother. All right, well, that's it for today. That was our laugh. As always, follow us... Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/SportswireCT, facebook.com/FatCatRadioEnterprise, facebook.com/BDCVinnyApicella, and then you could go with, oh, bother, SWE-CT.com and myfatcatradio.com, Twitter, Pinterest, SoundCloud, Foursquare, Instagram, Tumblr is SWE Connecticut, and then on Google Plus and YouTube, it is Sportswire SWE, and also on Skype, Sportswire SWE. So you could connect to us anywhere you want, anytime you want. Let us know. Send the questions to us. I want to thank all of our listeners for today because it's been great, and I want to thank our musical guests, our singers that we played, Katie Perkins, AJ Jansen, Alexa Wilkinson, J-Deuce, and Jenna Marotta. So I want to thank you all. Have a good day. Have a good night. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading, however you want to. Oh, yeah, find us on iTunes. Look up Sports-Wire or Sportswire. Either way, look for our Red Flame logo. All right, guys, have a good day. Keep on listening to the Sportswire. Have a good day.